Well, the aim was really to celebrate the work of kinship carers, and attachment is such a huge subject that a lot of them talk to us on the helpline about. And we were lucky enough to get Suzanne to come along and do a session today. So I think it was very important for them to be recognised for the huge contribution that they make to the children that they care for.
Children First, as I said, we really are committed to strengthen and develop the links and support for kinship carers right across the country. We're absolutely passionate about the difference you make to Scotland's most vulnerable children, and we absolutely share your aspirations to provide the best support to make these children's lives the best they absolutely can be. Some of you might be familiar, as I know you are, with the work and long-standing commitment of Suzanne to improve the lives of children through her work in sharing the science around attachment, communication and connection. And hopefully when you leave here today, you'll feel clearer about the importance of what you do and what you offer the children that you look after.
We could have called today this. This is how it was advertised to everybody, right? So what the science of attachment is teaching us about our children's behavior. That's absolutely what we might call this stuff. But a different way to talk about it is how to have more happiness at home. Or we could have called it when children's brains have known lots of fear. All children in kinship care carry fear in their brains. Their life's been chaotic, it's been filled with loss. So what kinship carers are trying to do is to help children to fight fear and to heal the fear and the loss that they once experienced. Your children's brains have known lots of fear. And it changed them. And you are dealing with the consequences of the fear that they have had to live with and that they have coped with beautifully because they're still here. Here's the bottom line. We come into the world already connected to other people. Our brains are looking for engagement and communication. And then the second key point is that brains are shaped by experiences of connection. We all carry within us the experiences of our childhood before we could walk or talk. And the children that we care for do the same. Because we don't have to intend to miss it in order to miss it. Either as a culture, or as a professional service, or in our household. So if you miss it, if you miss the moments when the child is in pain and you were too busy or too tired, you missed it. Forgive yourselves for missing it and do what you need to do so that you can be more present. This for me is the whole point of today. Babies come into the world already connected to other people. We didn't used to know that. Now that we do, it changes everything. When I say we, I mean science. We didn't used to know that scientifically. We do now. Interestingly, we know it in our hearts as people. The science has caught up with our humanity. Babies come into the world already engaged in relationships, already smiling at faces, already tuning rhythms to other people. And so for me, the question is, what do we need to say or do to help people to think about what that means? Because that's what your children are struggling with. It's the sense of connection to whoever else in your family, to their parents especially, and whatever happened to have them now be in your official care. That is where the struggle comes from.
We were just talking to one of the other kinship carers of how when Jerry and I try and have a conversation and he's always got to interrupt and be the main man, and now we kind of understand where he's coming from. It's kind of a light bulb moment that we know where he's coming from and maybe what to do in the future.
It just reinforces how important it is, and you understand that such a basic things are so really important actually, you know. So no, it was the science was behind it all, underpinned by science, but it was put across really well, and it was just really, at the end of the day, basic things that you can do to make a big difference, really.
Look at the hands of these adults. What's really interesting at the moment, I don't know what it means, but it is very interesting that if you put in parent listening to teenager, most of the images out there are parents not listening to teenagers. They're parents who are really struggling and trying to get the teenager to listen by shouting louder. It doesn't work. So, when you have a relation between the two of you where a person feels heard because you've made space and you've oriented your bodily posture so that you are listening with your whole body, it produces a chemical shift because you feel safe.
Allowing yourself to be vulnerable, it's okay to be vulnerable even if it's just for 5 minutes. Be vulnerable and just remember how you felt and how you would have liked that situation to unfold, and then maybe apply that to the child or the situation that's going on.
So what I said today is there are 4 key things that we can do to help kids heal. The first is to laugh as much as possible. Laughter produces a hormone of relaxation, and it signals that the time of stress and conflict is past. Secondly, to hug. Hugging produces oxytocin, and that gets you to relax. You feel safe in a hug. The third one is to listen. When other people have a posture that show that they're listening to you, you feel safe, you no longer feel threatened, and your body relaxes and you can think better. So if we can listen to our children's feelings, we make them feel validated. And finally, fourth, remember to breathe. When you breathe slowly, your body knows it's safe, and the time of saber-toothed tigers is past, and we can think better. So remember to breathe, even when things feel incredibly stressful, pressed. If you take a couple of extra breaths, you give your body space that it needs to adjust to the crisis and to find a solution. The thing is, those 4 things, laughing, cuddling, listening, and breathing, don't sound like very big things. But big problems start with little solutions, because those are the solutions at the heart of our humanity.
What we've learned today is massive actually, you know, and for people not to understand that, I know that, be aware of that, is really a massive gap. So I would say that, you know, that's pretty much a priority.
I think the event was very emotional, and it takes huge skill, like Suzanne proved today, to manage that. To one person to manage all of that is absolutely immense. And as she said, there was lots of laughter and there was tears, and that felt really healthy. It felt really open, and it felt like people were being really honest. And I think what it's really proved is everybody's left on a high and feeling that all the things that they do by instinct have been really validated.
Today was a great day. What I loved especially about it was people's willingness to do brave thinking. We talked about uncomfortable, tricky, painful things, and people were up for it. We thought about the system and how it's challenged. We thought about the pain of helping children to cope with their own loss and what it means in our individual lives. I loved that courageous thinking, and I love that Children First is up for it, and that they're encouraging people to think hard things that actually challenge systems.